like Christmas. For goodness sake, it's Christmas time, damn it. Very real dangers. Oh, yes. The very real, I gotta stop doing all that. And busting a vein or having an aneurysm or something at my age. There's a risk right there. There's the first one. Christ, don't flex too hard to get my age. Be grateful you're still here, I guess. Oh, I don't usually care what to look like, right? So I'm just going to lean on shit and posture's going to be offed up. It's not going to be like ideal to present my physique. But Christ, half of these dudes, some of the reals don't care, but half of these dudes, all they do is show a little picture of themselves that they took with their phone or something, and you can barely see them. It's like, it's only up there for a second, you can't really see it. And then it looks like it's all retouched and shit, and it's ideal, and the lighting's great. And then when you're looking at them, talking to you on the video camera, it's like, that's the same guy? You know, me, I look like this all the time. And you know what? Just serendipitously, never know I'm an English major, would you? Serendipitously, it just happens to be by stroke of luck that when people meet me in person, they're like, oh my God, you're a lot bigger than you were in the videos. Because in the videos, I'm like one of the few. I'm not the only one, but I'm one of the few that, you know, I don't put a whole lot of thought into it. People probably saying, oh, well, you got that lighting perfect. I don't have the lighting perfect. I just don't feel like having a lot of bright light in my eyes, so the kitchen light is off, except for the little spots, that's all. And I'm just sitting underneath of what's on the ceiling fan there. It just turns out to be that way. It's like, oh, you know, another serendipitous event. Brain's going. Anyway, let's be honest. I think probably the biggest hazard that there is, what can happen is you will ignore it and just push it back, you know, out of frame, and keep on rolling because you're making good progress, right? And that is this weight. So even though I'm keeping my body fat, you know, I have an acceptable amount. I burn down to X, and then I will allow myself as I bulk up, and I'm not like eating everything. I'm trying to still make clean gains, and it's working. I'll bulk up to allow another certain amount of body fat. Not a whole lot of difference, maybe 2 points, you know, 2.5 points or whatever. And then, you know, but the point is now I'm enjoying moving the heavy iron. I'm enjoying that the size is coming on really good right this minute. And yeah, I have turned it up a little bit. Like I said, or like I put that placard up in the last video or one of these videos, that if you want to know, if you really want to know exactly what I'm doing, exactly how much, every other freaking thing, you know, I usually just say it right on here because I'm usually rolling at 250 milligrams a week. You know, when I was big, most of the time I was at 500. You know, people don't want to believe that, but that's a whole other video. These low expectation having motherfuckers, little betas. But if you really want to know exactly what I'm doing and what I'm taking, because I'm growing really good right now, but you have to understand I'm regaining. I'm nowhere near as big as I was at the pinnacle of my, you know, heyday, and I'm never going to get that big again. But I had a lot of freaking muscle, so I am regaining. And those pictures are on. I'm starting to put some of those older pictures on Instagram. So my results are not going to be typical, but what you can take away from it is I do it in a cautious way, in a reserved way. And it just burns people's balls, which I don't understand why it does. You know, you have basically, it's become like 3 schools of thought. You can break most people down in. One, well, I'd say 4. You got one school of thought that they're the natty or not crowd. All they care about is, oh, you're not natty, oh, it's all steroids, oh, it's all drugs. The drugs do everything. If you're taking anything at all, you're lying, you're taking shitloads, and that's what is credited to all of it. You haven't built any muscle, it's all fake, it's all just drugs. Then you have the other crowd That's the whole other extreme of that. They're like, it won't do anything unless you take a shitload of drugs. You've got to take a ton of drugs. If you don't take and they don't even think what they're saying is a ton of drugs. They think that's moderate. If you don't take a whole bunch, it's not even going to work, and blah, 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 right? You got that crowd. And then you have the third bunch of group of people that I fit into that really are going to be here, or hopefully, who knows, but are going to be around a while. I've been massive for how many decades now? Come on, man. Not on any other medications. I'm not on like anything for blood pressure. I'm not on anything for fucking blood sugar. I'm not on, anything like that. None of the typical shit that a 60-year-old guy in the USA would have to be on. I'm not obese. I don't lack energy. I'm not all run down. Now I had some issues arise because I wasn't doing my due diligence, and I've talked about them in videos to a great extent. And like blood pressure issue, fixed it. Blood sugar issue, fixed it. That kind of thing. But so I fit into that third group of people that, maybe you were using it previously because you just got caught up in lifting. You like to lift, you like to build muscle, all that shit. But now maybe you're older, maybe you never used it before, but now your test level's dick in the dirt, and you want to do something about it because you're not fucking ready to die yet. They think we should just crawl in the box and pull the lid shut. You know what I mean? I don't feel that way. So we're going to do what we're going to do because it's our life, but we put the time in, we have the patience, we have the work ethic, the stick-to-itiveness, and it's going to be healthier for us to eat properly anyway and to understand nutrition. So we're going to rely on all of those factors, and the drugs support that because our natural testosterone levels are shit. And they're damn near supposed to be by the time you're 60 in this world today. And then there is a fourth group, and that fourth group are just, and I also fit into that group. I fit into the third and fourth group. The fourth group are men that they don't give a fuck what the next man does. They don't care what the next man does, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? These dudes that care about every other fucking man out there, you need to stop watching that man and start watching what the fuck you're doing on the path that you're on. Anyway, before life passes you the fuck by. Don't fucking hate on another man for living his life, for being able to choose his own path and do his own thing, So you got that fourth group, they don't fucking care what anybody else does, they're doing their own thing. You got their head down, they're doing their thing, you do your thing. But one of the biggest hazards, I think, are like in my case right now, I'm putting this size on very quickly right now. It's looking pretty good, right? So I could just barrel on forward. Say, let's keep getting bigger, fuck it. I don't need to get on the treadmill yet. I don't need to worry about cutting out the carbs like that again. I don't need to do that part of my cyclic, I don't need to do that part of the rotation right now. I can put that off and just get the size while it's coming so easily. Because it's addictive. It's addictive. The endorphins and everything from lifting and just the fucking, and you feel like you're winning. You're making progress. That's what you're there to do. So you want to keep pushing forward. You have the drive. But I'm telling you, once you put on so much weight so quickly like this, again, your cardiovascular conditioning goes to shit. And the way that I do is I cut all my cardio out, but I'm doing these in small cycles, I have my mass building phase, which I'm in right now, but I'm coming out of. And Monday, come hell or high water, it's time to cut those carbs back and get on that treadmill. And I won't lose any muscle. I think every time that I do this, I make, like I said, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But I'm always a step ahead every time. By summertime, I'm going to look fucking crazy. Provided nothing happens along the way. You know what I mean? Who the fuck knows? So that's just what I want to say. I want to encourage you. If you're just coming into this and you want to get back in shape and you've let things slide and now you're waking up and saying, fuck this, I don't have to feel like this. I don't have to be in this condition. I still want to be a fucking I still want to be a man. I still want to fucking live a while. I'm not ready to die yet. Not ready to go in an old folks' home or any of this bullshit. Then, grab life by the balls and live it until it's over with. But, don't neglect, don't sacrifice your health, really, just because, you want to get stronger and you want to get bigger. You can do it all at the same time. But if you're, to an extent, but if you are overweight, if you're really overweight and you're out of shape, cardiovascularly, your heart is out of shape, you don't have any wind, all that bullshit, you have to do that first. That's the first where you have to start. You have to do that first. You can still lift, you can still build muscle, you can still train, but you need to do more of a transformation. You need to get that fat off first. And when I did this year, back in, I don't know, March or whenever I started it, that was the first thing I did. I brought my fat down a lot. I dropped like four inches or better off my waist. I wasn't like obese before, but I had let things slide. And I had gotten comfortable like that. And that's not the way to be. So right now, cardiovascularly, I feel it. I don't have the wind that I had before I put this, I don't know what I just put on now, another 12 pounds. So I have to handle that first. I got to bring my cardio conditioning back up. I got to get back into shape cardiovascularly, get strong again with the cardio and the wind, and then I can do another, rotation of putting the size on. Focus more on that. So I'm doing these things in these small rotations. That's all I wanted to say. Don't let it get out of hand and you fall so in love and become so addicted to the gains that you're like, fuck it, I can get lean later. No. I mean, you need to enjoy what you do. You need to love it and have a passion for it. But remember why you started doing it. You know what I mean? Because you felt poorly. Because you were concerned about your health. You were concerned about your quality of life because of your health. So as soon as you start feeling better because you're lifting and now you're building muscle, you're getting stronger, don't ignore that heart. Don't ignore that cardiovascular conditioning. You can't let that go. The fat has to come off. That has to be a fucking priority. You don't have to get shredded. You know what I mean? But you have to get that fucking shit under control.